Hi, and welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Pastor Paul Steele from Bethlehem Church in Austin, Minnesota. The Bottom Line is our weekly summary of the previous Sunday's sermon. Now, this past Sunday, we continued on with a sermon series entitled Questions That God Asks. Now, why does God ask questions? Well, it's not because he needs information, that there's a gap in his knowledge. It's because he wants us to reflect. He wants people to be mindful of their relationship with him. Right? Jesus said that the most important thing in our lives is to love God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. So God asks us questions so that we will reflect on our lives and be mindful about our relationship with him and the state of our life and how that's affecting our relationship with him. This past Sunday, we looked at Genesis chapter 16, verses 1 through 14. And here we have this story dealing with three characters, Abram, Sarai, and Hagar. Now, God had made a covenant with Abram that Abraham was going to be a father of a great nation, and through Abram, all the nations of the world are going to be blessed. Abram's wife is Sarai, and they're both old at this point. And they have followed God. In fact, they've been in the promised land for 10 years and still no descendant. So Sarai takes it upon herself to suggest that they follow the culturally accepted plan of having a descendant. And that is using her slave, Hagar, as a surrogate, who would become a concubine to Abram. And so Abram agrees, Hagar becomes pregnant, and then she begins to mistreat Sarai. She holds her mistress in contempt. Sarai goes to Abram and hey, you need to deal with this. This is what's happening. This is all your fault. And Abram simply gives up his rights as being the husband of Hagar now and says, hey, she's your slave. You deal with her the way that you want. So now Sarai mistreats Hagar, who then runs away. Hagar feels helpless. The one person that should have her back, who should care about her, says, hey, Sarah, you deal with her the way that you want. So as she is running away, God comes to Hagar and says, hey, Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from? And where are you going? And then God makes a promise to Hagar. This son that you're carrying, he's going to be the father of a great nation. Your family name will continue on. There will be a legacy here. And so Hagar returns to Abraham and Sarah, and she declares that the God that Abraham worships is the God who sees. He sees me. See, this is important for us to remember. When we think there is no hope, when we are feeling helpless and hopeless, God sees us. He cares about us. Peter, writing to Christians who are being persecuted and who are on the verge of giving up, writes this in 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 and 7. So humble yourself under the mighty power of God, and at the right time he will lift you up in honor. Give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares about you. God cares about you. He sees you. And he's going to provide for your needs. He's going to give you what you need. So trust in him. Turn to him in prayer and cast your worries and cares on him. So our bottom line from Sunday is this. God wants us to know that he cares about what happens to us. God cares. And so we should cast our worries, our doubts, our fears, our cares on him. So our challenge this week is to reflect on our life and to think about the different ways that God has come through. How has God provided for you in the past? How has God shown that he cares about you? I invite you to join us on Sunday at 10:30. You can join us in person next to Ellis Middle School, or you can join us online via Facebook and YouTube. Hey, if you have a prayer request you'd like me to be praying about, send us a message. I'd be glad to pray for you. Like and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the week, and God bless.